Namaste and greetings, and welcome to the Center for Spiritually Integrated Arts, a Centers for Spiritual Living teaching center. I'm Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson, the founding minister and spiritual director. If you ever have questions about who I am, who we are, what we do, what is Spiritually Integrated Arts? What is a teaching center? What is Centers for Spiritual Living? What is metaphysical spirituality? What is New Thought? Science of Mind and Spirit? How do I become a member? How can I support, tithe, and donate? All of these questions and so many more. Send an email. You have two options. SIAADMIN, Spiritually Integrated Arts, admin at spirituallyintegratederarts.org, or spirituallyintegratederarts@gmail.com. Either of those will work. You can also visit our website, www.spirituallyintegratederarts.org. Now, you may be wondering, where else can I find and follow? There are several other social media platforms that you can also subscribe and follow. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and our YouTube channel, where you can also find all of our Sunday messages and more. I look forward to hearing from you soon. I look forward to you being a part of this beloved community. Because we are a virtual community, it doesn't matter where in the world you are. This can also be your spiritual community, because you can have more than one. Anywhere that you feel supported, anywhere you are spiritually fed is home, is community, is relationship. So I look forward to dialoguing more, conversing more, getting to know you. Much love and appreciation. Live long and prosper. Chat with you soon. Take care. Namaste and welcome to week number 2 of My Passions, My Purposes, the month of August. So if you do not already know, if you're new to this community, then you may not know that after the Sunday message on select Sundays, we gather in Zoom for an after Sunday message fellowship, an opportunity for us to get to know one another, to further dissect some of the things that came up on Sunday during the message, just to converse and connect with one another. If you do not already have the Zoom link, send an email to either of the two email addresses that you see on the screen, and the Zoom link. Slow down, Ray. There's no need to rush. Send an email to either of the two email addresses that you see on your screen, and the Zoom link will be sent to you. Now, these email addresses are important to have because they will be your gateway to a variety of other things, such as classes and registration, links for other things coming soon on 2 slides from now. So be aware, save these email addresses. Also being aware that you can like, share, follow, subscribe to all of the other possible entry points on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Is it still Twitter? I don't know if it's still considered Twitter or if it's X. Anyway, and on our YouTube channel, where all of our Sunday messages are archived for any kind of review and sharing, etc. At the bottom of your screen, you see 2 QR codes. One is for Givelify, the other is for PayPal. This is so that you can donate, tithe, and share financially as part of your spiritual practice to support where you are spiritually nourished, fed, and supported. And we believe and we pray and we intend for that to be this beloved community. So thank you for your support in advance. Remember, I said in a few slides, there would be the mention of these two things. Both have a separate Zoom link. If you do not already have the Zoom links, remember those email addresses? Send an email to request a Zoom link for the Wednesday night Science of Mind and Spirit discussion group facilitated by me, where we discuss all manner of what is science of mind? Is it relevant today? Is it relevant in my life? Is it relevant with what's going on in the world? If so, how? What's the practice? If not, why not? And what can we do about that? Then there's the Thursday night study group facilitated by Tracy Rhymes, where they discuss the questions that I always leave at the end of our Sunday message. Yeah, I always give questions. I'm an educator. That's what we do. We ask questions. So this group meets on Thursday night to discuss, to share, to communicate based upon those questions as their prompts. Both of these groups, the Wednesday night and the Thursday night, are from 7 to 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and both are via Zoom. So once again, if you do not have the Zoom link for either of them, because they're two separate links, send an email. Also coming this fall, the accredited CSL classes. Stay tuned for more information on which class or classes will be offered this fall so that you can register. You will be given advance notice so that you can get the early bird price for the class. And if that doesn't matter, then, it doesn't matter. So just stay tuned for more information regarding the educational opportunities that will be coming this fall. Now, if you are ready to percolate, wasn't that a dance back in the 90s or was it the 80s? I don't remember. Percolate. Anyway, today we will be talking about percolating your passions with purpose. In the branch of science known as physics, chemistry, and the material sciences, percolation, to percolate, refers to the movement and the filtering of fluids through some porous materials. Like when you have a coffee pot and you have the filter. Okay. Today, as we explore passion and purpose, we begin by encouraging one another to percolate. Meaning what? To identify and to filter our hidden, our buried, our unexamined or denied passions, to filter them so that they stay out and the passions come in and are expressed. So this week we are going to delve into the process of what does it mean to first find, and then second, what does it mean to cultivate this connection between our passions. Once again, I do not refer to it in the singular because we can have multiple passions and purposes. Based upon the Western idea of passion and purpose, people often think of you have a purpose in life and you must be passionate about one thing in life. And it has been my experience that that is not necessarily the case. You can have, and I believe in truth, we do have more than one passion and more than one purpose because we are multi-dimensional, multi-layered, multi-leveled beings. So are you ready to dive in? Are you ready to percolate? So clearly, this is a coffee pot. So we're going to talk about the metaphysics of the coffee pot. And that means what? That there is a mental equivalent of the coffee pot because it's all God. Now, not just from a spiritual standpoint, it is. It's all God because God is all there is. So every part of the coffee pot, all of it, the whole, it's God. So if it's God, then we have the opportunity to extrapolate from it, to do a coffee pot exegesis. What is the coffee pot affording us the opportunity to learn or understand about ourselves? Well, when we break it down, we see that the coffee pot itself is your mental equivalent. That the glass lid is your ability to examine, to see into the process as it's happening. The perforated basket, your deductive reasoning abilities. The coffee, the grounds themselves, your experimented ideas, your taste. The brewed coffee, your manifested or desired outcome. The water, your transformed beliefs and consciousness. The flow. The tube that moves the water, your inductive reasoning abilities. And then lastly, the heat source that moves this into motion, your passion, your emotions, your feelings, your joy. You got that? Okay, let's go further. Good old Raymond Charles Barker says, the clarity of the infinite mind is the clarity of my mind. There is only one mind, and that mind is God, and that mind is your mind right now. Therefore, I think with ease of my accomplished goal. I think with ease. I don't need to struggle about I think with ease of my accomplished goal, my manifested goal. It is being created in my mind right now. It is in my mind right now, fully formed and fully functioning. And there is only one mind. That means the moment it is fully formed and functioning in my mind, it is in the mind. And if it is in the mind, then it's done. And so what is mine to do is knowing that the law has received and is acting, and knowing that it is fully formed and fully functioning in the single mind, the mind that is God. That means the universe has it. The universe is already acting upon it. Then what is mine to do? To move with ease and grace accordingly. To move my feet accordingly. To act within my life accordingly. Because oftentimes in this thing called life, we believe, we have been conditioned to think about what is this? And we have been, it's a maze. And we have been conditioned to think about life as this. This is how life often feels for us. I can make a wrong turn if I go left. If I go right, maybe I'll get lost. I don't know where I am. And nobody helps. They don't give up. Where am I supposed to go because I'm lost? Oh my. I'm laughing because I can see Tracy's face right now. Because my life is a musical. But seriously, we have been conditioned to think of life as a maze. A series of wrong turns, dead ends, mistakes. But that's not what life is. Life is more like this. Life is a labyrinth where each turn takes us deeper to the within. And we don't stay there. It's like enlightenment. You journey and you move and you shift and you turn and you travel to enlightenment. And you don't stay there. Once you get to the center of the labyrinth, you don't stay there. You now come back out. And you don't come out in a straight line. You come out the same way you went in, turn by turn, journey by journey, adventure by adventure, awareness by awareness, one step at a time, one breath at a time, one thought at a time until you come back out into the world with your newfound awareness, having journeyed, having percolated each turn, filtering. This is not life affirming. Let it go. This is not in my highest and best. Let it go. I surrender, I release, and I let go. Each turn, an opportunity to be present with our grief. Each turn, an opportunity to be present and forgive. Each turn, each step, each breath, an opportunity to heal, to transform, to evolve. And then, as within, so without. The same level of awareness when we go in is the same, per se. I mean, it's a higher level, but it's the same adventure on the way back out. Each turn, greater awareness, whether going in or coming out. Each step, greater awareness, greater depth, greater evolutionary power, whether it's going into the labyrinth or coming out of the labyrinth. That's what I mean by it's the same. Because it's the same turn. The labyrinth itself doesn't change form in the middle of our walking. So there's going to be, for example, in this image, when I get to the end of this, there is a left turn to be made. That left turn, when I'm coming back out, is going to be a right turn, but that turn is still there nonetheless. We don't shortcut the labyrinth. We stay on the path. We stay with the breath. We stay with the process. We stay with the practice. And the practice is our opportunity to percolate, to brew the life that we desire and deserve. Breathe. Dr. Holmes offers us, you are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life, because you are life itself expressing. In the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of external expansion, you are that. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in life. You are a spontaneous, self-choosing center in the great drama of being, the great joy of becoming, the certainty of external expansion, evolution, transformation. You are that. You may not see yourself as that, but simply sit with the awareness that I am that. I get to choose. And in fact, I am always choosing. Breathe. And while there are things that others may have chosen for us, such as Tracy and I didn't choose to build this house. We didn't choose the plot of land for the house to be built upon. But when we realized this house was an option, we chose to move in. So even within that which is not chosen for us, Viktor Frankl did not choose, Elie Wiesel did not choose for Hitler to do what Hitler did, but while in the concentration camp, they still chose emancipation. They still chose evolution. They still chose freedom. And in their choosing, their lives were transformed. Now, ultimately, in this spontaneous, self-choosing power, we are simply not choosing for ourselves. We are choosing what is the good, the highest, the best for the entire collective. But it does begin with each of us individually. So what are you choosing? As you move through life, as you get to these points of, do I go straight? Do I turn right? Do I turn left? What are you choosing? Oftentimes, we feel confused. We feel conflicted. We feel fear. And so we think, well, if I put off choosing, then I will not have to choose. But putting off choosing is in itself a choice. Famed tennis player Arthur Ashe says there is a syndrome in sports called paralysis by analysis. He may not have known that there is a syndrome in politics that goes by the same name. There is a syndrome in religion and spirituality that goes by the same name. In education, same name. Parenting, same name. There is a syndrome that many of us in this thing called life experience called paralysis by analysis. Now, what is that? It occurs when an individual or a group engages in the over analysis and overthinking of the various alternatives. Because there are too many choices, we get bogged down, we freeze because we don't want to make the wrong choice. So we become stagnated and we do not move forward. The momentum is stopped. Now, psychologists say that at the root of analysis paralysis is anxiety, is worry, is fear. Fear of making a mistake or fear of making an adverse decision and choosing what we label as the wrong thing. So we believe that by procrastinating, which is a choice, we will not have to make this other choice. But in making this choice, we've made a choice. So keep that in mind, that we are always choosing. How are we choosing and what are we choosing is the question. Because choosing not to push yes or no is a choice. Breathe. So that we don't get stuck in the endless cycle of, I have to make a decision. Pause, freeze. I don't want to make a decision. Let me find out what all of my possible options are. They say I can choose between A, B, or C, but I understand that within A, B, and C, there is A and B, and there is B and C, and there is A and C, and there is multiple choices. There's C, B, and A, and B, C, and A, and B, A, and C, and there are far more choices than they are recognizing. And so I lost in the cycle of overthinking. But then I finally come to a decision and I second guess. So I go back to the beginning and do it all over again. When, oh, when will I make a choice and stand by the choice I have made? When? Trust. See, when you realize that this process, paralysis by analysis, is rooted in anxiety, worry, and fear of making the wrong choice or the wrong decision, then it gives us the opportunity to pause, to bring into this our spiritual practice. One, why am I judging this as quote unquote wrong? Why am I worried or afraid? And we can look at my life as an example. Recently, so I had surgery, unless you're new, you already know. I recently had a major surgery in April, having my prostate removed. When I was told that it was cancer in December, choices: radiation, chemo, surgery, active surveillance. And each of these has various other branches of, well, if this, then this, if that, then this. And so what did I do? Spiritual practice, conversations with people who have already gone through this, conversations with doctors and specialists at other, I already say churches, other hospitals and clinics, advocates who are aware of. Spoke to a lot of folks, did a lot of reading and a lot of prayer and a lot of meditation. And what kept coming up is surgery is in your highest and best. Now, the question in that is, do I trust the answer that has surfaced? Do I trust the information that I have gleaned? Do I trust it? And it's not even do I trust it. It comes down to do I trust myself to make a decision to choose what is in my highest and best, and then to move forward from that space. That's what it comes down to. And there are so many things within our scope of religion and education and such that we are taught, we are trained not to trust ourselves. Do not trust your intuition. Do not trust God, the universe. Do not trust your spiritual practice. Do not trust any number of things. We are trained to engage in paralysis by analysis. We are trained culturally to do this. It is the Western mindset to overthink and think again. And if I could, I would, I'd think a little more. And then I'd overthink it all again. It's what we do. Our invitation is to break out of that habit, to break into a new realm of trust, commitment, conviction, awareness, and presence. Dr. Wayne Dyer says, I stay inspired by making an energetic shift within myself. That means there's trust. You have to trust to stay inspired. You have to trust to make this energetic shift within myself, within ourselves. And when we do, the world looks completely different. And we move inwardly towards peace and kindness, the labyrinth inward. And then the labyrinth outward. So we move inwardly towards peace and kindness, and we move outwardly, bringing kindness and peace back into the world. Breathe. Pivot. Pivoting from what is non-life affirming to what is life affirming. Shifting our direction, shifting our focus, turning away from the condition, turning away from the overthinking, turning away from changing direction so that we are moving in the direction of what it is we desire. We want health and well-being, then we have to turn from. We want more love, more affection, greater financial wealth and stability, then we must turn from. We must change directions in order to be, as Ramakrishna said, if you want to go east, do not go west. It's as simple as that. Now, that may sound overly simple, but if you want to be healthy, then you must do healthy things. If you want to be financially prosperous, then you must do that which is going to nurture and support financial prosperity. And if that means changing the systemic dis-ease, corruption, etc., then that must be the pivot, turning from political corruption, turning from war and rumors of war, shifting our perspective of, I don't want to forgive. Forgiveness means I give them, I condone what they're, shift, turn from, and turn to what it is we desire and deserve. Pivot. Now, we already do this physically in many ways. We pivot in basketball, we pivot in dance, we pivot in Aikido, we pivot in all kinds of ways. We turn as a function of whatever it is, the purpose of the dance, the purpose of the Aikido move, the purpose of a pivot in basketball. It serves a purpose. We don't simply pivot to pivot. We pivot because there is a reason to pivot. What is our reason to shift, to turn, to move? If you're not familiar with this book, I highly recommend it. In fact, we might be doing a book club reading and discussion of it, so stay tuned. But I highly recommend, because the idea that Dr. Sean is offering is, as it says, reimagining justice, reimagining equity, reimagining ourselves in this world, and reimagining the world. Isn't that what we're doing in CSL? When we talk about a world that works for all, we are reimagining it, reimagining democracy that actually works, reimagining what it means to cooperate, to collaborate, to communicate with compassion and creativity. Is that not what we're doing? Yes. So I highly recommend it. And stay tuned. As I said, we may be doing a book club version of. So, making an energetic shift, as Wayne Dyer said, make an energetic shift. Are you ready, willing, and able to do that in your own life? Do you even know what that means? Because it takes a level of, I must be aware of the energy that I feel, that I promote in order to shift. Think about, it's one of the reasons why I love metaphysics in movies and television, because we see the variety of archetypes. So let's take Wednesday Addams. What is the energy that Wednesday is present as and exudes? Wednesday doesn't laugh. Wednesday is very brooding, very serious, very What is the energy that you carry about you? Now, if Wednesday was going to shift, Wednesday would have to identify, what is this thing that is me? What is this energy that is me? What is the scent of my aura? What is this thing, to be able to pivot? What is this thing in order to make an energetic shift? Do I know what my chakras are in order to shift energetically and have them open so that the energy is flowing freer and fuller? Remember a couple of weeks ago, we talked about the tangled up hose? The energy cannot flow unless it is untangled. Well, the only way to do that is recognizing that it is tangled in the first place, recognizing that it is crimped somewhere, recognizing that it is knotted somewhere. It is awareness that gives us the ability to make an energetic shift. Abraham Hicks says, see this world as a free world, and everyone in it as trying through their individual experiences to find their way back to that calling, back to that source energy. Pivot and see this world as the beloved community. Pivot and see everyone as doing the best they can, some effective, some not so effective, but everyone is doing the best they can with what they know and with what they have. Pivot and see that there are tools and things that are being availed to the people so that they can make better, more effective, life-affirming choices. And in providing these tools, methods, and techniques, everyone is being given the opportunity to go through the labyrinth of their lives, to get to the center, to realize this is source energy. This is the universe. This is God. And what it is, I am. And then they come back out of the labyrinth, having gained, having gleaned, having grown, and the world changes. So pivot from lack and limitation. Pivot from not enoughness. Pivot from this and pivot to this new way of seeing and being in the world. Pivot from My coffee pot is empty. My coffee cup is empty. I don't have coffee. And pivot two, then let me get the coffee grounds and the water and the coffee pot, and let me do what I need to do to facilitate the process of coffee making. And it may include, I need to go to the store to buy a coffee pot. I need to go to the store, or I need to order coffee grounds. And there are choices of, do I want hazelnut? Do I want fresh ground? Do I want Colombian? And then I make a choice. And then I do the process, my practice. And then what happens? I have created, I have manifested a nice warm brew of coffee, a nice brew of love and joy, a nice brew of health and well being, a nice brew of harmony and peace within my life, within the world. That's the practice. That's the process. Pivot from. Good old Nikola Tesla, not the car, the person, says, if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Energy, frequency, and vibration, the secrets of the universe. Energy, the ability to define, to do work. Energy is the ability to do. The ability to do. Simple as that. The work, the practice, the process. But it's the ability to do. Frequency, the rate at which something occurs. How is it repeated over a particular period of time? Or in a given sample of space? How persistent are we? What is the regularity of which we meditate? The regularity of which we journal, pray? What is the frequency of how often we engage in our spiritual practice? The frequency of how often we communicate compassionately. And the vibration or the vibe is a person's, remember what we talked about with Wednesday Addams? A person's emotional state or the atmosphere of a place or a person as it communicates and is felt by others. Yo, man, I don't like your vibe. You're just bringing me down, man. Do something with your vibe. What is our vibe? When we have a friend, do we vibe well? The vibration. So Tesla says this is the secret of the universe. Energy, frequency, and vibration. So how do we apply this to science of mind and spirit? Just pause and contemplate that on your own for a while. What is the connection of energy with science of mind and spirit? Frequency with science of mind and spirit. And vibration with science of mind and spirit. How is my energy, my frequency, and my vibration aligned with a world that works for all? My mental equivalent with regards to energy, frequency, and vibration. Breathe and contemplate. Now, for the sake of linguistic convenience, which is, it's a sort of shorthand. It's a way to simplify whatever it is we're referring to. Now, the danger with linguistic convenience is oftentimes people will oversimplify something, such as positive is good, negative is bad. That's an oversimplification. Light is good, darkness bad. It's an oversimplification. Now, for the sake of conversation, when we are linguistic convenience, we may refer to light as good, darkness as bad. This positive is good, negative is bad, but it's for linguistic convenience. There is a deeper way of speaking about, in the same way that Your physician may talk about your collarbone, but when amongst other physicians, it's your clavicle, right? That is your clavicle, right? It's not your femur. No, I'm So, for linguistic convenience, we are going to talk about, in the next slide, an idea where the words can be interchanged, but keep in mind the concept of linguistic convenience is a kind of shorthand to get from point A to point C. But we can dive deeper and understand that positive, yang, negative, yin, are complementary forces, and both are necessary for there to be life, harmony. Light and darkness are complementary forces. Both are necessary for there to be shape and form and depth. Both are necessary, both and. So do not oversimplify. Now let's go on to what Bob says. Bob says, a long time ago, a friend told me that there is a difference between whittling and carving. One of them is simply killing time. The other is laden with purpose. Keep carving. Now, based upon what Bob is sharing, we know which one is just quote unquote killing time, whittling, while carving is laden with purpose. Now, once again, for linguistic purpose, because I can say I'm whittling a bear, I'm carving a bear, I'm whittling a bear. Because the book on whittling, step-by-step projects to carve, right? So for linguistic convenience, the point is, what is the energy behind the word you are choosing to use? What is the purpose, the intent behind the practice you are engaging in? So if I'm whittling and the purpose behind the whittling is I got an hour till my meeting, so I'm going to just whittle. I have an hour till my meeting, so I'm going to doodle. I have an hour till my meeting, so I'm going to surf the web or whatever. Be mindful of the intent behind the action. Whereas I'm carving, I am intentionally surfing the web to find information and do research. I am intentionally doodling as part of my creative process to create a painting or a drawing. Be mindful of the intention behind the action. Because this is how I know that there are a great many passions and purposes, because throughout my life, I have had, how else do you end up with 10 degrees? It wasn't by accident. And it wasn't because I didn't know what I wanted to do or be when I grew up. Each of the degrees, every certificate, every license that I have ever had, etc., has all been tied to something I am passionate about and something I have chosen to align with my purpose, be that American Sign Language, interpreting, performing, teaching. That's all under the umbrella of American Sign Language, because I was a sign language interpreter. I was a certified sign language educator. I was a professional sign language performing artist. All of those under one umbrella. Then there's theater and acting. There's family-related stuff, biological, family of choice, martial arts. It's a great many Star Wars, Star Trek, Marvel Comics, superheroes, so many things, including the passion that I have and my purpose for harassing Tracy. That is a deeply held passion of mine that brings me great joy. I don't know if it brings joyful brings me great joy. We can talk to Tracy about that later. But the point is, whatever it is you are doing, are you doing it with trust? Are you doing it with commitment? Are you doing it with conviction? Are you doing it with purpose? It serves a purpose to do whatever it is we are doing. It serves a purpose to speak to whomever we are speaking. It serves a purpose, and we get to choose what that purpose is. Reverend Ray says, there is nothing outside of you willing you to do or be something, nor is there something determining what you are destined to be or do. Pause and say that again. There is nothing outside of you that is telling you what you have to be, do, or have. There is no God saying this is your will. Your will, your destiny is the will and destiny of God, which means what you choose is what the universe is choosing. You are an individualized expression, an individualized incarnation of God, source. And so when you say that this is what is your will, this is your destiny, then the universe agrees in essence. But there is nothing outside of you punishing you, guiding you, directing you. There is no anthropomorphic power or energy choosing what you should be, do, or have. And this is why we practice all that we practice in a holistic manner so that we can align in the most effective way possible to everything that allows us to live our best, most joyful, most empowered lives possible. Breathe. This week's affirmation or declaration, I'll say it first, and then if you agree, if you are in alignment with it, say it with me on the second go round. I nurture my passion, and it blends naturally with my purpose or purposes. And actually, I should have put an S on passions. So let's put an S on it. Together, I nurture my passions, and they blend naturally with my purposes. I nurture my passions, and they blend, they align naturally with my purposes. Breathe. And so it is. This week's journal questions or Thursday night study group questions. What is a naturally joyous feeling and thought that you can lean into, that you can pivot into at this moment? What brings a smile to your face and to your heart? Messing with Tracy. Number 2, what makes you feel alive when you are engaged in it? Messing with Tracy? No. What activities easily put you into the zone? Doesn't matter what it is. Sewing, knitting, gardening. What puts you into the zone? When others are around you, what type of energy would they say vibrate from your being on a daily basis? What is the vibe that they get from you? Number 4, what am I giving most of my attention to right now in my life? And what do I frequently do that supports and or denies my passions? Remember, frequency, vibration, energy. Keep that in mind. And lastly, how can I transform my joyous passions into deliberate actions consciously and purposefully? Breathe. And let's enter into that space of divine awareness, the atmosphere of the all that is that we refer to as prayer. It is in this state, this atmosphere, this energy of the divine that we recognize and align with the truth of our being. God is all there is, and what it is, we are. This divinely magnificent power and presence is incarnating as each and every one of us. And so as we move through life, energy, and we choose how we operate and move and live, our practice, our frequency, then we elevate the energy of our lives, vibration. And as we move in this alignment, our mental equivalent, aligned with the allness and isness that God is, and all of what God is, as Holmes said, what is true about God is true about you. And we are aligned with that truth, steeped in that principle. Then we pivot from the effect to cause. We go into the labyrinth, into the center, first cause. And having garnered, having gleaned, having percolated, having amassed whatever this truth is and all that it is, we bring that and pivot back to the effect and change the effect, change the circumstances, change the conditions. Before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water, go through the process and the practice and attain enlightenment, and then return, still chopping wood and carrying water, still going home to visit the family, still traveling through traffic, going to the grocery store, voting, conversing, practicing the very presence of the divine, moment by moment, every day, just as this breath is, moment by moment, breath by breath, every day. Even when we cross the veil of life after life, there is still the infinite energy and power of the divine. Whether it's called breath or not does not matter here and now, but that which life is must continue. So we breathe right here and right now. We trust right here and right now. We pivot as needed right here and right now. We percolate. We brew the awareness, the divine scent, the divine taste, the divine power, presence, and energy of the divine right here and right now. For we understand that we are God. Now we act like it. The law says yes. The universe is in alignment with that yes. And it is now, it is here, and it is us. Breathe. And so it is. Namaste, blessings, much love, much appreciation. Chat with you soon. See you next week. Well, see you Wednesday. See you Thursday. See you next Sunday. Have a great week. Blessings.